stopped just talking to myself. I know in my heart there's no one else. 'Cause my baby loves me, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My baby loves me good. My baby loves me good. I'll never live without her. Cause my baby loves me, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My baby loves me good. You know my baby loves me, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. My baby loves.
The Indy in Toronto started with the layout of the track, the design in 1985. 1986, we actually sold out. We had to close the gates.
It's supposed to look like it's easy to do. I love when people say, well, what do you do the rest of the year? Well, this is all we do. It takes that much time to pull it off. But there's a small core team, less than 10 people, responsible for executing the largest sporting event in Ontario. The stature of it is unparalleled, and I think the future growth of the event is fabulous, and having Honda on board certainly makes that possible.
I've always driven for Honda in the Indycar series from the beginning, even when there were other manufacturers. And that was one thing that we knew driving for Honda versus the others, is that it was going to last. It was going to have good fuel mileage. It was going to be fast, and it was going to be perfect.
Their heritage is motor racing, back from Mr. Honda's day. So, and we know the engines just don't go wrong. They don't break. I think they've run every Indy 500 since 2006. That's 33 cars in every field at 500 miles, and never had an engine failure. And that's an unbelievable record.
It's been a change in our focus. Before, it was all about the competitiveness. It was beating Toyota, it was beating Chevrolet, beating Mercedes. And when we switched to the sole supply, it became a very different challenge. You were no longer worried whether you were going to win the race because you knew that was going to happen. What you were specifically worried about was not affecting the outcome of somebody else's race.
You know, there's an old saying in racing, to finish first you have to finish. So, yeah, you know, if the thing lets you down on the track, then for sure, you know, you're not gonna win the race.
You know, reliability. I mean, when I look back and watch old races and stuff, you know, of Dad and stuff, it's unbelievable how dominant they were, and they would have failures. You know, so that allows us to shift our focus solely on just the handling of the race car. You know, they're too good.
I wish I would have had this reliability when I was driving, because in my career, I've given away as many races as I've won. And if I would have had that reliability, I think I would have had twice as many wins as I have now, you know. So it's really exciting for a driver now that he almost doesn't have to worry about the reliability aspect of it. And it's all about him and the team, you know, going out and just being quicker than the other guys.
Well, each driver does have an individual style. And one of the things we do is we tailor the car to that individual style. Obviously, we can't make radical changes, but it does help the car, it does help the driver extract the most out of the car when it fits his style a little more.
We all hold our hands at a slightly different position on the wheel. You know, Will's hands, I think, might be a little bit bigger, his grip's a little bit bigger, so we're all a bit different. You know, the button positions on the wheels are all customized to each of us individually. I'd have a lot of trouble just jumping in Will's car or Elio's car and driving it without any changes, because it'd just feel wrong.
It's a very simple way to explain to everyone. Some people like softer shoes, you know, or fit clothes or loose clothes or things like that. It's the same way in racing. It's the best way is to fit your style. I like the car a little bit pointy, so that means with the brakes off and the speed go through the corner. So at least I have a good turn in, and I know it's gonna turn.
Some drivers like a lot of front balance. They like the front tires to bite really hard, and they can hang with the back. They can control the back with their talent. Other drivers, they want the back stuck. They don't care what the front's doing. They use the throttle to balance the car. They're not interested in the front.
To drive off the back of the car really just means that that's the end that I need to feel the most. I need to be comfortable with it. I need to know what it's going to do, and I need it to do what I want it to do.
That's been the struggle for us this weekend, is the car is not reacting to what I want it to do. It's almost like it's got a mind of its own. It wants to do the opposite of what I'm asking it to do. So then it becomes a push-pull, a fight with the car, and when you're doing that, you're not getting a good lap time out of it. You know, we have maps, we have telemetry, we have speed traces, throttle traces, steering traces, braking traces, and we look through all of that stuff, and I say, this is what's going on, and they can see my reactions from the steering and throttle and, you know, the cornering forces. So, you know, you can't really tell a lie. You can't say, oh, the car's doing this, and they can look at the telemetry and say, well, no, it's not, it's doing that. You have to be fairly accurate. If you're going to improve the car, you have to give accurate information that corresponds with what they have from the telemetry of the car. So,
for me, what's fascinating is it's the relationship between human being and machine. You got to put both together, you know, and having the equipment being reliable, because you got to trust. You got to trust the engine, obviously. You got to trust the car. You got to trust the mechanics to make sure when you jump into the car, everything is going to work well.
I know that they would never let me out there if something was wrong. And so I'm like, you know what? My guys put together a perfect car. I'm not worried, even though something's vibrating or something feels weird. I'm sure it's just a gust of air or something like that. So it's that trust that helps you kind of just move past little things that you feel and just get on with what you need to do.
A lot of times you come underneath the tent and you can feel tension. You know, it's just a balance of personalities.
Tu as juste besoin d'un tout petit élément qui ne fonctionne pas et puis la course est perdue à cause de la compétitivité qu'il y a entre les équipes et les pilotes. Il faut que tout soit parfait. Il faut que toutes les pièces du puzzle soient en place pour pouvoir avoir le succès.